contract agreement from Jeremy, I believe, last week. It was emailed to all 5 of us. Joan did make us paper copies, I believe.
Okay.
And I'll give you the forger.
Yeah. Does everybody have a copy, or do you need a copy?
Should have been everybody's mailbox.
Not everybody will. Here's the quicker. Most of you, I think, are aware of the events that have occurred over the past 6 months. We initially canceled our agreement with the Ambulance Council back in December on a certain Martin IRTs on December 18th. We've had multiple meetings over the last 6 months. I think I'm up to like 13 or somewhere in that range of meetings. Had a joint meeting with the board back in April. I offered 4 times prior to the RFP process to sit down and negotiate an agreement with the Ambulance Council. They decided to go ahead with the RFP process. We were the only bidder. The RFP was to be advertised statewide, which I believe in some capacity it was on websites, but I did not see it in any newspapers. Bidding process was open to anybody who would like to place a bid, and we did so. Me and Nate sat down for about 3 hours and drafted a response to the RFP, and responded to what we could provide and with an offer. The price initially was considering fixing all of the, I wouldn't say ailments, but fixing EMS in our county for the time being. EMS is changing drastically. This is nationwide, and it's not a Chickasaw County problem. It's not just a New Hampton, Iowa, Chickasaw County problem. It's a statewide, nationwide problem with a shortage of people. People aren't volunteering like they used to, and the training requirements for paramedic and EMT are so much more than they used to be. So we're looking at going to partial full-time staff and still utilizing our volunteers and paying them an hourly on-call stipend. That was all part of my proposal. After we submitted our bid and they had the joint meeting with you guys, I sat down with the 3 members of the board. It was Amy Lowers, Scott Sawinski, and Shane Kroenke. And we negotiated to something that both parties felt we were comfortable with. It's in the Ambulance Council meeting minutes where Shane shared that we gave some and they gave some. To the point where we thought we were comfortable. That was turned down by the Ambulance Council. We then had board meetings, and then I had another sit-down meeting with Steve Gertz and Randy Taylor a couple weeks ago, and we negotiated down even further to something that we thought would be feasible until we could get the issue on the ballot this fall. That contract I was under the impression it was going to be voted on last Tuesday. The meeting was canceled by Chairman Steve Gertz. Thus, the vote never happened. This has been going on too long. We're now 33 days from the end of our contract. And I guess my proposal to the board is, if you guys are the ones that are funding this to get us by until the vote this fall, I'm proposing a contract directly with the Board of Supervisors so we can put an end to this.
So the first year would be the 165.
Correct.
Second year is 195.
Correct.
Why won't the second year be pending the vote too?
Second year is,
If we got it, so a little history, this board has authorized the county attorney's office to get a resolution to us to get on the ballot for this November 5th. So I guess in your star here, you jumped to 365 on the third year, why won't the stars be also on the second year? I'm just asking.
I was under the understanding the money wouldn't start coming in until October, November of into the next fiscal year.
So that's why there's a discount.
So essentially we talk about that at that point if it passes and what we want to do with that, and how we want to proceed. And that's something that probably wouldn't happen overnight, so this way we'd have guaranteed service for that whole year. There is verbiage that can be renegotiated, with 6 month notice, and we did that, so it's done before budget time.
Any other questions?
We did eliminate, you can see the lines on page 1. What we initially proposed to the ambulance council, the 5 transports per year for the sheriff's office. The reason that was eliminated was the anti-kickback statute. It's against federal law to possibly incentivize them to dispatch us to gain business for us. So we didn't want to violate federal law. If that's a sticking point, I can run it past an EMS attorney to see if that's doable.
Because right now dispatch does it for free.
Correct.
It's free for his business.
Correct.
And the city of New Hampton is,
City of Germany, fire department.
the city of New Hampton has already voted and agreed to provide the garage.
For 3 years, or just did they agree for 1 year to provide the garage?
They didn't set a timeline, so as long as there's ambulance service provided.
At no charge.
There is something else that has come about in the recent. Another ambulance company, I guess, has come into the picture. Private corporation out of Iowa City, Healthcare Ambulance. They have phoned my employees asking them to be their manager. I can only speak for my service, but I've heard stories of how they operate versus how we operate. There's a big difference in quality and quantity of equipment and help. My full-time guy Bo actually worked for them when I hired him. There was something mentioned to me this morning that the comment from CARE is whatever Jeremy bids, I'll beat him by 50,000. My
That's a
concern, excuse me, I'm on the agenda. It concerns me that I did my due diligence to try and put a very strong effort to be competitive in the bidding process in case other people bid. And then we've negotiated down twice since then. Just something that we think is doable to get us by until this goes on the ballot in November and let the citizens decide what they want.
Were you here when Eric was here from Lawler? Anything in the contract to provide service to the city of Lawler or residents in the county?
The whole county's covered by the contract minus the 12 sections down that Sims has, and they keep that, because, just the distance, I see no reason for us to take that over when they're so much closer. Like I said, this isn't Chickasaw County prime. You're seeing more and more of centralized ambulance services in the county. Winship County centralized in Decorah. Cresco has, they have one ambulance in Raceville, but otherwise they're out of Cresco. Floyd County, the only ambulance is in Charles City. Cerro Gordo, the only ambulance is in Mason City. And I don't know if Clear Lake's in Cerro Gordo, but Clear Lake and Mason City. And what we need to do is make a big push for first responders. I think first responders is gonna be the key in these outlying areas.
So I'm just gonna ask questions.
That's fine.
And make some statements. So you reached out to me on Tuesday to be on this agenda. I did notify Jennifer, and she said he's more than welcome to talk to us. She would like to review anything, if anything, we send to her before we sign anything.
Absolutely.
If it's allowable with the state law. So that's the county attorney's opinion so far.
So I think that brings up another point, right now, the ambulance council does not have legal representation. You guys do. Having Jennifer to review the agreement before signature is in your best interest, and I think that's a good thing.
So then I'm just gonna make one more statement. The county and cities have an intergovernmental agreement. It's an instrument that these 9 parties agreed to back in the day. I believe some of those people are deceased. It's gonna be hard for me to trump what their duties are. You know, I'm gonna go into purpose of this council. The council shall have the following purpose: to enter into such agreement as necessary to provide for an ambulance service for county and cities. I think if we move forward, we would be violating this 2080 agreement.
I don't necessarily agree with that.
You would not agree with that?
I don't believe that just because there's another entity that can do that doesn't mean that you can't do that for the citizens of the county. But you can discuss that with Jennifer.
I can discuss that with Jennifer.
Right.
That's the way I read it, you know, the council shall do this following purpose of this.
That's where in the agreement, I think that gives them the opportunity to do so, but they don't have funding, they don't have any money, they don't have an attorney. It's kind of been a hanging point there also. So, they can do that, but is it required by law that they do that? I don't think so. I'll let Nate give his opinion on that.
I think that's been part of the rub all along, is that you guys have been funding it. And yet you have one vote on this, what is it, 9-member council. So you're easily overruled, but you're the ones that are holding the purse strings. Ultimately, it requires your approval anyway to pay them out.
Correct.
That money can come from the city people.
They can also put the question on the ballot also. The cities can put the question on the ballot also. This fall, if they wish, desire, because they can vote up to $1. I think there's on their budget, the cities can do up to $1, but vote with people, so they have that option also.
I'm just gonna show that this board is moving forward with the EMS, trying to get an essential service. It should have been done many, many years ago.
It's very much appreciated.
They will be on the ballot in November. It will cost the county extra funds to get it on the ballot. I'm sorry that it came this far. I was hoping the ambulance council could move. I don't know what they're gonna decide Thursday night, if anything.
It's Thursday morning.
Sorry, Thursday morning, correct.
And why on Thursday morning when the public wants to be there, Jake?
That's not my call.
I mean, we keep moving the agenda around and the meetings around and the public's getting so confused. Then we have a locked door. They can't even get into the meeting, it was a locked door.
Any other discussion by this board, you know,
I guess my proposal, you know, contingent on Jennifer's approval, if this is something that this board would agree to, and let's get this issue put to rest. I mean, you guys are the ones with the money, ultimately.
and that's the other issue that I had over the weekend too. Nothing wrong with Jeremy's proposal talking to us today. I hope it didn't come too fast. But usually before we sign a contract or a bid, we have to go out for bids. And I don't know if Jennifer's gonna allow us to accept this without doing the 20-day advertisement, doing the RFP process. I don't know what she's gonna decide on that.
I don't know what the county policy is.
We have, it's that one with the federal government.
It's never been put to bid, so.
Correct. Oh, in the past.
Correct.
Right.
It's always been a contract.
It's always been a contract through the ambulance council. I'm trying to help this situation out. Any other board members, discussion?
I think it's a slap in the face to all of the council that this is even brought here. I also want to pointed out that, as a business owner and as a representative of the hospital, to slam another service before we even get a proposal from them, I think it's terrible. You know, it's, Facebook is blowing up, you know, this company is no good. We don't even have a proposal from them, you guys are slamming them. I just can't believe it.
What I can't believe is we've spent 13 meetings discussing the same topic, and then the council asked for bid, and then there was a bid, and then we negotiated twice after that bid. Last Tuesday, it was supposed to go to a vote, we proposed a contract. Steve canceled the meeting the last minute, thus prevented the vote. And then we're 30 days from it, and all of a sudden this other ambulance service knows what we bid, and because it's public information, and now all of a sudden we'll beat them. Well, what do you want? Do you want a company here that doesn't pay tax here, doesn't donate to the community, their kids aren't gonna go to school here, none of the money's gonna stay in this community, they aren't gonna live here, and they, quite frankly, they might have one of our staff that'll work for them. I mean, what do you guys, it's ultimately what you guys want, I guess, but me and a lot of other people we're at kind of our wits' end. I have a full-time guy that doesn't know how he's gonna feed his family in 30 days. So is he supposed to go apply for other jobs in the next couple weeks? We lose him and then we're done. And he's already told the other service that he won't be their manager. He's the one that got the phone call. So what's he supposed to do? What are we supposed to do if he does take a job somewhere else? What are the people that are volunteering for us that have been dealing with this for 6 months? They're sick of it. They're absolutely sick of it. I think the community as a whole wants a resolution to this matter sooner than later, and they've been speaking that to the ambulance council for months. And just nothing happens, and nothing happens, and we just keep pushing it back, and now we're 30 days out, and we still have nothing. That's why I came to you guys, because essentially you guys have to approve this, you're the ones with the funds.
Anything else, Jason, Kim?
So you're trying to tell me that if we agree to the 165, that as a county, we're hooked to pay the whole thing?
That would be the motion.
The community, can't speak on behalf of the city, but what I've been told is, they don't have any money, none.
Jones just showing me that the cities can put on their ballot too. You know, there is a spot for the city emergency medical districts.
What does all the towns have to prove that?
People, the citizens of the cities have to vote for it.
Subsection 18.
So this is just an offer to get us by until, it's voted on and by the citizens. And I guess I don't really know, are the citizens going to approve a tax levy for an entity that's, doesn't have a business stance in the community? I don't know.
Just did auditor. We don't have business names to go into.
He's talking about, I think, the citizens of this county. Will they support?
This was passed, then we could budget that in there.
Yeah, we could budget, so, and that was my question to start. So if it did pass November 5th, in budget work session in December through March, we would know what levy rate that would generate, so we could levy rate that 195, but payments won't come in until October. So, because you want your monthly payments up front, is that the way I read it?
Yeah, and the reason for that is, you know, God forbid the contract's violated and you guys can cancel it. Then you're not, nobody owes anybody anything. Essentially, you just stop making
So I visited with you once before, I believe in this boardroom here by myself. You called me to talk to me. So there's no money, even if the board agrees with this, there's no money July, August, September, because we would have to do a budget amendment. That ain't gonna happen until August 1st.
And I'm okay with that.
So if the board decides to move forward, if that's what we agree on, the first payment will not be until August. You okay with that?
Yeah.
I just want the board to hear that.
I would still proceed, if it's passed today, I would still proceed with the hiring process, like we proposed to hire a full-time medic and use savings account to fund it until that point.
Looking at your contract here, under Chickasaw County obligations, paragraph 11, it says to provide service and heated garage. Doesn't the city already provide that?
The
So-
city has already agreed to provide that, yes.
Yes, but it's in our contract. Why was it in there? Or how come is it in there?
Well, it's carrying over from what we had previously with the city.
Oh, okay.
If there were a change, then we would be willing to renegotiate regarding that. Right. We'd be willing to renegotiate as to whether that might be in a different building, or whether if Jeremy had to take that over, what additional costs there would be, things like that. So that's certainly something that we could renegotiate if the city decided to pull its support and refuse to provide a garage. That's something that we could work out.
They have already agreed to do it.
That's why we put it in there, was because it was already.
That's on their
That was, in the previous contracts, that was a hang up with the cities, because the city, and the way it was written before, the city of New Hampton was held liable for, if you guys done the work, and was that was
We've changed.
There's a no-brainer that I can see why they wouldn't want to support it.
We've changed that language significantly so that it's only if it's the negligence of a county, county employee or city employee that causes that would there be any obligation to pay for those medications.
Since it'd be so, the city says, well, we're not gonna heat the garage anymore, we're gonna turn the heater off. And if a furnace malfunctions or something like that, it's nobody's liability but our own.
Did you have a question, Jason?
I was just wondering, if you put that on the ballot, is it a county vote? Or is it gonna be a city vote per city?
You can do it either way, I understand, but
Okay,
do
my
it,
question is if you do it either way and say Walter votes are down, Fredericksburg votes are down, Nashville votes are down, Alta Vista votes are down, so that means North Washington, New Hampton are paying for the whole ambulance service?
no, that third year is dependent on
On the countywide,
the countywide, so if it doesn't pass, third year's out.
right, then we'll just have to talk.
The first two will be funded by the end fund balance. That's
How are we gonna
what
do that?
The fund balance should be where the fund balance would be.
I mean, cut the budget this year, now our any fund balance is even less.
Correct.
Well, with that thinking, how are you gonna fund any ambulance?
That's a big question.
But you have to have an ambulance.
We know that, but I mean, the any fund balance is, we cut it, start the budget season and
Like Carolyn Martin Shaw, it's not an essential service right now, and that's what you're putting on the ballot, is to make it an essential service for 5 years. And like Carolyn Martin Shaw also included, you really have to contact your legislature to make sure it is essential.
I think we've been contacting the mayors and the ambulance council so big, they're not listening. I'm sorry, they're not listening. People have asked, my phone's been ringing off the wall.
Well, Todd and Wayne are for it. They're for that.
Anything else, board members? You guys want Jennifer to look at it?
I think Jennifer needs to look at it,
I
figure out on this paragraph number 11.
I think we ought to leave it go with the council, let them do their job.
They needed this.
Ambulance council.
We're not gonna have an ambulance come July 1.
Like Jeremy said, yeah, we've been waiting.
I can't see nothing harm to give to Jennifer to look at.
I
motion
can't
to.
either.
I guess I'm,
You give it, yeah, I mean, it doesn't give her, she wouldn't, I mean, I asked her to look at things for me and she said, no, maybe,
That's right.
We need a board motion.
personally, I'd like to see a motion to, I'd ask the board for a motion to approve the agreement contingent on Jennifer's approval.
What if she has a couple changes though? I mean, that's
So that won't be approved unless we make those changes.
I think she can look at it without approval.
She needs board leadership to look at things for,
Can't do consensus,
do consensus.
just to look at it.
I'm for Jennifer to look at it for consensus. You can collect consensus.
Yes, Jason?
It's fine.
You okay for Jennifer to look at this contract and we will get back to you as soon as possible? Steve?
I don't know if she looks at it, but I think the girl needs to go through the council. If you want to look at this, but it needs to go through the council to, you know, there's changes that are written in here now that were not in the last one. We were proposed that you said was his last proposal. So, you know, I just, I really think that go through the council.
We will have legal staff look at this and get back to you Monday. It will be on the agenda.
Okay?
All right. Thank you.
What time is the ambulance council on Thursday? What time is the meeting?
10 o'clock.
Community services?
Yes.
Are they gonna have a PA system so we can hear in the back? I mean, poor Ben Ryan sitting in the back room, we can't even hear. 100-year-old guy, and the guy cares so much, but he can't even hear the meeting.
I'm gonna run the meeting very similar to the way this is. We're gonna have, me talking in front at the beginning, and then when we're done talking, the public is done talking. Then the board is gonna do their job. I talked to the Iowa Public, which one you
IPIB, Iowa Public Information Board.
Yeah, I talked to them last week. That's how we got the idea, the way to cancel the meeting. And it came right from them. And that's the way we're gonna do the meeting is right from them also.
So you're gonna go back out for bids, because there's other people that wanna bid on it. If you're gonna go back out for bids, what are you gonna do? We're not gonna have an ambulance by July 1.
We're gonna review it, Kenny, and that's the council's job to do our job.
Ask him if he's gonna make that decision or if they're going to
All right,
make that
thank you, guys.
decision.